Fun NFL Week 6 recap. 13 games to do. It's going to be fun. Well, actually, 12 games to do. Please like and subscribe. Hope you enjoy. Get ready for the Monday Night Football recap and the Power Rankings and the Week 7 Thursday Night Football preview. Either way, like and subscribe. Enjoy the Week 6 recap. We got 13 games to do, or actually 12. Let's get right into this thing.
Execution by Jacksonville to set up what is now a 53-yard potential game winner.
Natasick is the long snapper. Cook is the holder. Matthew Wright signed off the street, elevated yesterday, 53-yarder to win it. It's away, and he got it! He got it! Jacksonville wins and ends the second longest losing streak in NFL. Mahomes. Intercepted.
Madison remains in for Cook. Second down and 13. As Cousins throws. Osborne. Touchdown. Viking.
Knocked him out of bounds, created an opportunity on fourth down.
Another sneak try for Jones, who got pushed back on the initial surge. This will depend on the official spot.
Seven defensive backs for Arizona. Pressure coming. Mayfield able to get away, and now he'll uncork it for the end zone. Ball in the air, and it's caught! It's caught! Donovan Peoples-Jones! Baker's prayer is answered from...
Where is Derek Waller? That's the guy that you really have to be concerned with.
4 of the first 5 plays have been running plays. Where do they go on 3rd and 2? Carr looking to throw. Deep shot. Ruggs is down there. He's got it. Ruggs at the 5, and he takes it in.
This is Marvin to hold. Boswell from 37 for the win. And the Pittsburgh Steelers win in overtime. Burrow has it. Wide open for the catch. Mixon inside the 20 with a block. Mixon, and that's going to be a Bengals touchdown.
in the grasp. Either way, they picked up the flag, and Washington has just punted back to Kansas City.
Pumps and runs, and Rodgers is inside the pylon. Touchdown Packers. It's Rodgers.
Looking deep, throwing deep. Who's down there? T.Y. Hilton back in the lineup, as we said.
89. Jackson with all kinds of time. Now on the move. Pulls it down, and he's going to run with it. Dodging tacklers all over the place. And diving.
Otherwise, the defense has to make a stand. For 2nd and 15. Good throw, and it's intercepted. He's got another one, and he's got a field ahead of him. Diggs is going to take it to the end zone.
Win the game. No one remembers the 3-man interception. They remember the one that loses the game.
Jones, deep ball, and somehow they blew the coverage. It's Bourne to the end zone. One play later, the Patriots strike magic.
What's going on, guys? Welcome back to Fun NFL. We're getting right into the recap for Week 6. We got 12 games to do. Should not be super duper long. Let's get right into this. So, yeah, for the London game, final one of the season, the Dolphins play the Jaguars. Jaguars are technically home in this game. Both teams are now 1-5. Jags are on a walk-off kick and their 20-game losing streak. Dolphins, I gotta say, you've lost 5 straight. You're looking pretty bad. But I say for them, run the ball efficiently, play action with the QB. They kind of actually did that really well. Here's the thing: they didn't really run the ball well. Anyone besides Malcolm Brown. They didn't really run the ball at all either. Like, no one really ran the ball section. When they did run the ball, it wasn't absolutely, it was just terrible. It was just inconsistent. Tua had a really good game, though. He probably his best game so far in his career, 33 of 47, 329 yards, 2 touchdowns, interception. The interception was really bad. But other than that, I think he had a really good game. But I said run the ball and play action fish with the QB. I'm gonna give him an underscore. Yeah, they're playing it. Here's the thing. Tua was not fully healthy. I saw him play. It just didn't look great. So, but Jalen Waddle had a really big game. Even if you don't look at the yards, they were really wrapping him up. They didn't really take any deep shots though. That's why they're getting an underscore. But I did like how they played offense at some points. But like, I can't give them the minus though because Tua had a really good game and they actually didn't run the ball that terrible at some points when they actually had to do it. They were good. Mike Gesicki had a big game. No one else really stood out. And then defensively, though, they didn't play great. I said they had 2 sacks. They got a lot of pressure, but I said they didn't really do that well. They did not play absolutely awful, but they did not play good football. I'll give them a minus. It was really, honestly, like you said, oh yeah, their offense stunk. This week, I gotta admit, it was their defense. Their defense did not play great in the fourth quarter. That killed them. But on the Jaguars side, they played good football for once. Like I said for them, no turnovers, run the ball a lot. They did not run the ball a lot, but they did run the ball when they had to, and they got a lot of yards. James Robinson had another big week. But Trevor really threw the ball. Definitely his best game so far. 25 of 41, 316 yards and touchdown. Offense, I'll give them a plus. Like they didn't turn over the ball. They played good football. They did not score a ton of points, but it was enough for them to win. First win for them. They played good enough football. I'll give them a plus. Marvin Jones had a big game. And then defensively, though, definitely best game so far. They had a pick. No pressure really though. That's the only downside. Damian Wilson had a big week. I'll give him an underscore. Like their defense wasn't great. It wasn't bad. I'll give them an underscore. They played good enough for them to win. Their offense was really the big key though. Their offense played really good football. So yeah, that's why the Jags won that game. Dolphins defense did not play great. Their offense didn't play bad, just not good enough for them to win. Next game is going to be actually a really good game. This is actually a super good game. Vikings-Panthers. So the Panthers fall to 3-3. It was in overtime. Vikings go to 3-3. That's really good for them into the bye week before they have to go on Halloween on Sunday Night Football. So yeah, this is a big game for it's a huge game for both teams. One team trying to get out of that funk, the other team trying to get back to 500 before a bye week, which is always good. But yeah, for the Vikings offense, they were pretty good the whole game. Said run the ball and throw it all. It was to JJ and Adam Thielen. They did exactly that. Adam Thielen is getting open more and more. Justin Jefferson's getting doubled more and more. KJ Osborne had a really big fourth quarter. Oh yeah, and where is it? Tyler Conklin had one play where he wouldn't go down. It wasn't like a George Kittle play, but it was close to it. You got Dalvin Cook. He ran the ball really well. CJ Ham had one big run on 4th down. It really helped him. He just wouldn't go down. But Kirk Cousins had a really good game. 33-48, 373 yards, 3 touchdowns. I'll give their offense a plus. They put up a lot of points. And yeah, maybe they could have been better at some points, but can't really say much else than that. That was really good. Their defense, though, as much as they got a lot of pressure, let's see. 1, 2, 3. They got 4 sacks. They gave them a lot of yardage, and they got a pick, but they gave a lot of yardage. I'll give them an underscore, though, because there were times where their offense got stopped, which I know sounds not a lot, but when they did get stopped, they did hold. So I'll give them they basically played well enough to win. But Sam Darnold threw for under. Okay, let's see this. Okay. 41% completion percentage. Yeah, safe to say Sam Darnold was not efficient. But gotta admit, they were forcing a lot of so basically what I was saying is Sam Darnold was not accurate at all. And I said for them, run the ball efficiently, take shots, and they did take a lot of shots. It did not work out. One time it actually did work out. Ian Thomas had a huge catch, but that was about it. And Robbie Anderson had a short catch. Sam Darnold was really struggled, though. Like 270 yards, touchdown pick. He threw a lot of deep balls. Their run game was pretty bad. Gotta admit, this does not look good at all. And Sam Darnold had to run a lot. It wasn't good either. I said, take shots. Yeah, easy reads for Sam. They were not easy at all. I'm going to give them a minus. No, you know what? The Vikings defense didn't really play good in the first half. Sam Darnold just really struggled. The run game wasn't good. They didn't play a good football game offensively. It was just really, really bad football, if you ask me. They did put up points, though, so a lot of field goals. But then defensively, they had, so it was just an average game. I'll give them an underscore. They did not play great. Yeah, they're getting a minus. But you know, I'll give their offense an underscore. As much as Sam Darnold struggled, they did convert in the red zone, but their defense gets a minus when I really think about it. They didn't do anything. They just gave a lot of yards. That's about it. A lot of points. Vikings had a good game on the field. The Panthers just beat themselves. Feel bad for you Panthers fans because you always think you're gonna start off good, which you do, and then you just stink it up. Next game gonna be Chargers, Ravens. That's all I want to say. This game was an absolute blowout. Many people thought that the Chargers could upset in here. I'm like, you sure about that? Chargers got absolutely blown out 34-6. Yeah, Chargers are not in the upper weight class right now. As you can see, they lost on the road to a really good football team. And yet, Justin Herbert really struggled 22 of 40. 22 of 39, 195 yards touchdown pick. They ran the ball a total of 12 times. You will not win by doing that. Pretty simple. Receiving, no one really did anything good. Gotta admit, Keenan Allen, a lot of force feeds, did not do anything. Their offense played terrible. Contain Lamar, no. They did get 2 interceptions, though. I gotta give them that. Lamar, when he was aggressive, had some bad passes. They got pressure, too. Wasn't absolutely awful, but they're getting a minus. They gave 34 points. I don't really know what else to say. But then for the Ravens, Lamar really didn't throw the ball that amazing. The problem was they ran all over them, and yeah, they didn't really have to do a ton. Like Lamar, 19 of 27, 167 yards, touchdown, 2 picks. He's thrown a lot of interceptions, run the ball. They did run the ball with just about everyone. They're getting a plus. Yeah, even if Lamar struggled to throw the ball, he's got it because the Chargers defense actually played really good against the pass. That's about it, though. Mark Anderson had an game. Marquise Brown did not get open a lot. But then for their defense, they're the real plus. Like, they're the reason they won this game. When you hold a team that is coming off of scoring 47 points to 6 points, you're getting a plus every day of the week. Even if they didn't, do anything special, they got a pick, they got a couple sacks, they just didn't allow any big yardage plays. And for that reason, they won the game. Next game was an absolute blowout. I want to go really quick. It was Rams-Giants. I went to this game. It was absolutely awful. I left in the third quarter. It was 31-3. The Rams absolutely blew them out. It was actually 3-0 after the first quarter. Matt Stafford was really good. Yeah, don't care about the yardage. They really didn't run the ball very efficiently. Well, they did, but still. Cooper Kupp had a monster game. Robert Woods only had 2 catches, but they were for big yardage. Defensively, they had the best game of the season, pretty much. Yeah, the Rams defense actually played really well. Their offense gets a plus. They converted when they had to. Their defense, they only gave up 11 points. I'll give it to them. They played an absolutely phenomenal game. It was really the Giants' offense that really sucked, though. It was really bad. They could not run the ball. They could not throw the ball. But yeah, they got over 275 total yards. It's really hard to stop, though. No one really did anything good on the Giants. I do not care that they got 2 interceptions. Their defense played really bad. It was not good. Giants got absolutely mammoth, though. Mauled at home. Next game was another blowout. It's Texans, Colts. Colts, they're a good football team. They're just inconsistent. That's all I gotta say. But then for the Texans, opposite, I said run the ball efficiently and no turnovers. They had a lot of turnovers. They had 3, I think. Davis Mills was really, really conservative. 29 of 43, 243 yards, 2 picks. They actually didn't run the ball that awful, but their offense put up 3 points. They're getting a minus. It was really in the red zone where they really struggled. They could move the ball. They just couldn't do anything else. Defensively, they absolutely stunk. It was ugly. Carson Wentz could throw wherever he wanted. They could run the ball wherever they wanted. It was absolutely awful. They got 2 sacks. Good for them. Jonathan Greenard. But other than that, it was really bad. And then for the Colts, Wentz was 11 of 20 for 223 yards, 2 touchdowns. He really didn't have to throw the ball because they had so many, 3-play drives where Jonathan Taylor just ran the ball. 2 touchdowns he had. They threw the ball really good. It was just a bad game. They didn't even win the possession game. It was just domination. They're getting a plus. Defensively, they're getting a plus. They got 2 picks. How many sacks? 1, 2. Yeah, they play good football. Let me just put it that way. They blew out the Texans like they should. They're a much better football team. Texans lose their 5th in a row. Colts finally get back on track with a win. Next game is a game that I was worried about because the Chiefs were losing 13-6. And then they realized, oh yeah, our defense doesn't stink. So basically, first half of this game, it was 13-6. Mahomes in the offense were turning over the ball. Their defense was giving up yardage left and right. Wasn't actually that terrible. They didn't look that bad. But the second half defense really stepped up. The offense didn't turn over the ball, and they ended up winning the game 31-13 like they should. So yeah, but the Chiefs offense has to stop turning over the ball. So second half they started trying to dink and dunk. It actually did work for them. They did have some mistakes, but it wasn't that bad. Mahomes cannot throw these picks though. He's thrown 8 interceptions this season. Any quarterback who does this through 6 weeks is unacceptable. He needs to realize I can not make these stupid throws. He needs to get in that mindset. Because when he is on, he is on. He has not been on this year. He's thrown too many picks. That's pretty much all I'd say. They cannot turn over the ball. The run game did not do them any favors, though, because it was pretty bad. They did not run the ball well. He got pressured a lot, but 31 of 47, 397 yards, 2 touchdowns, 2 picks. Second half was a lot better. He looked a lot, Holmes looked a lot better. The offense looked a lot better. Tyreek Hill has draft syndrome sometimes. We had a good game. Yeah, so other than the 2 picks in the first half, it was pretty good. Their defense, though, first half, I'm going to give them they weren't really that bad, though. Their offense is getting an underscore. They did not play great football. First half, it was a minus. Second half, it was a plus. For the Chiefs' defense, I'll give them a plus because the second half, it wasn't actually really that special, but they did not give any yardage whatsoever. They played good football. First half, it was an underscore. They weren't great, but they weren't bad. Oh my gosh, the Washington offense played absolutely terrible in the second half. First half, they actually weren't really that bad. Heineke just had to keep checking down because they realized don't get burned in the run game. When they did have to run the ball because they did take a good lead, they did give up run. Their run game defense was so bad, but Heineke was 24 of 39, 182 yards, touchdown pick. A lot of incompletions really helped for the defense. J.D. McKissic again had a really good game receiving. He's their best, probably their biggest weapon other than Terry McLaurin right now. Their defense, though, another not terrible week, though. I gotta admit, it wasn't terrible. First half, I'd give them a plus. They really shut down the offense. They got 2 picks. They got 3 sacks. Really was pretty good football, but then they just couldn't hold on. So they're getting an underscore. There was a lot of defense that played worse. Yeah, so the Chiefs go to 3-3. They're gonna have to win next week. It's basically must wins for the next couple of weeks. They gotta get on top of the Chargers. Next game, Packers, Bears. Packers, they won this game 24-14. Really boring game. Packers go to 5-1. Bears stay at 3-3. Rodgers was pretty much simple. He didn't really try to do anything crazy. They got an early lead. They kept it like that. Rodgers threw for under 30 passes. They ran the ball like they wanted to. Both running backs ran the ball really well. Their offense gets a plus. They really weren't trying to do anything in a couple months. Kind of got out of hand at sometimes. But then their defense got him. It wasn't absolutely amazing. They got 4 sacks and an interception. There were times I thought they were a little nervous, but I'll give them a plus. They played good football. The Packers won the game pretty much. They were in control of the whole game. Like Justin Fields again, they couldn't struggle to find some completion. 16 of 27, 174 yards, touchdown, interception. But Cleo Herbert averaged 5.1 per carry on 19 for 97 and a touchdown. That's why they're getting a underscore. If they can run the ball efficiently and maybe actually not struggle that much to throw the football, they'll be okay. Defensively, they had 1, 2, 3 sacks. Underscore, they only gave 24 points. It really wasn't that awful, but the Bears they weren't a good enough team. Packers played good football. They brought their B game. The Bears did not play. The Bears brought their B game too, and it was what you'd expect. Yeah, Bears are not a bad team though. They're average. Next is Bengals Lions. This game was a blowout. Not as bad as the Rams game, but it was bad. Lions are the worst team in the NFL. They're 0-6. Bengals are 4-2 though. That's really good for them. Joe Burrow was pretty darn good. 19 of 29, 271 yards, 3 touchdowns picked. The interception is not a tip pass. Joe Mixon ran the ball really well. Jamar Chase had some big receptions. Their offense gets a plus. It's really not that bad. And yeah, Joe Burrow made no mistakes really. He made a couple, but they weren't big, like stupid ones. But then for the Bengals defense, pressure Goff stopped the run. Yeah, they got 1 sack. They got a pick though. And yeah, it was just like simple. They just didn't give really any running game. They're gonna get a plus. Then for the Lions, they could not score points the whole game. It just felt like they couldn't. Like Jared Goff wasn't really that absolutely putrid, but DeAndre Swift averaged 1.8 per carry. Goff just wasn't really conservative. That's how I'll put him at, like 28 of 42, 202 yards, touchdown, interception. They could not run the ball though. That really killed them. Yeah, TJ Hawkinson just couldn't. They didn't really get anyone deep. That was what I didn't like. They get a minus. They score 11 points. They couldn't really do anything. Defensively, they got absolutely dominated. They got 2 sacks in the pick, but that was about it. They're getting a -2. The Bengals absolutely mauled the Lions. They're getting a minus. Next game is gonna be the Cardinals and the Browns. So yeah, this game, the Browns were just not a better team. Pretty simple. They didn't really run the ball great either. Before we get into this, the Cardinals offense is back. Murray threw 4 touchdowns. He was 20 of 30, 229 yards, 4 touchdowns. Right now, he's probably the MVP. He's played absolutely phenomenal almost every game. I said run the ball, 30-plus points. Take shots to Diop. They did. Denzel Ward did a really good job on them, though. Their offense gets a plus. This is probably the best offensive showing of the week. It was great. Pretty simple. Then for the Cardinals defense, slow down the run and pressure Baker. They did slow down the run pretty well. They did get, 5 sacks and a pick. So that probably helps if you Captain Obvious. Their offense gets a plus. They only get 14 points to a really good offense. And Baker threw a bad pick, but I got to admit, the Browns were kind of up against it. Like 19 of 28, 234 yards, 2 touchdown pick. Baker didn't really have it. When they did run the ball, it wasn't bad. They're never going to have a terrible running game. It was just really inconsistent. Like Odell, he actually had some big catches, but that was about it. Donovan Peoples-Jones just really was their only big play guy. They're getting an underscore, though. They didn't play absolutely awful, where I'm like, they did have sparks. It was just really, really, really inconsistent. Their defense, though, gets a minus because they did not show up. Yeah, they got 2 sacks, but Kyler Murray, as you know, does hold on to the ball too long for sometimes. Not saying they didn't work for it. They definitely did, but the Cardinals are not some super team. They are a really good team, but there are teams that can absolutely blow them out if they wanted to. They're 6-0, though, so I can't really say anything else. Cowboys Patriots. This game was absolutely wild, as you saw in the highlights. Trayvon Diggs is way too aggressive, but it works against him sometimes. He's basically 2018 Xavier Howard, and then he thinks he's Xavier Howard from 2020, but he gets burned a lot. So basically Xavier Howard last year was so phenomenal because he had so many interceptions, played so aggressive, and didn't get burned. That's really hard to do. Then I said for the Patriots, and then the next game, Patriots Cowboys, of course. I said for the Cowboys offense, when the numbers game takes shots, I'd say they do that. They get a plus. Yeah, sometimes, like Dak was 36 of 51, 445 yards, 3 touchdowns pick. They didn't really run the ball a ton. They did run the ball average, I'd say. Dak did have some mistakes, but they were good. Defensively, 4 turnovers. They had a pick. Didn't say they won the game, though. They did not play great defense. They did not play terrible, though. They did not play absolutely awful. But it was really close to the Patriots' offense. I don't want to watch the highlights. Patriots' offense, though, they played really good. They were so close to winning. If you didn't know, I had CeeDee Lamb. He had 36 points in fantasy. If you're playing PPR, he had 36 points. And he walked off my game with the touchdown. It's really, I don't like the Cowboys if you haven't figured that out by now, but it does help for fantasy. Then for the Patriots, though, Mac Jones was pretty good. 15 of 21, 229 yards, 2 touchdowns pick. They ran the ball over the Cowboys. The Cowboys could not stop the run. Kendrick Bourne had the catch of the game by far. Yeah, it was even bigger than the touchdown. The game would have been over if he didn't catch that. So, yeah, their offense gets an underscore. They did put up enough points for them to win. Their defense just didn't really do great. Their defense gets an underscore, though. They did have a chance in the end, but they didn't win. They gave it up, but they had a pick, though. Didn't really get any pressure, though, because the Cowboys' offensive line was getting 40 penalties. But either way, that was probably a really good game. It was entertaining. The Cowboys, they're 5-1. The Patriots have fallen to 2-4. Not the end of the world for the Patriots, though. They're still a really good team. They can beat a lot of really good teams, though. The next game is going to be a little bit of a disappointment for the Broncos. For the Raiders, it's a victory. Moral victory by far. The Raiders went into Denver without a head coach. They were up against the back of the wall. They just came off an embarrassing loss versus the Bears at home where they only put up 9 points. The Broncos are coming in, trying to prove themselves after another tough loss too. But they're home. They have all the advantages. They have the momentum. They lay an egg though. Yeah, Derek Carr and the Raiders won 34-24. They went to 4-2, tied with the they're with the Chargers for first in the division. They're not first though because they lost in that Monday Night Football game, 28-14 back in Week 4. Derek Carr really showed up though, 18 of 27, 341 and 2 TDs. Josh Jacobs did not run the ball efficiently, but he did get the big yards they need. Kenyon Drake had one huge run. That's what it is. Henry Ruggs, classical game for him. Everyone had a really good game. They really put it in on offense. They were really physical. They dominated them at the line of scrimmage. It really helped. Their offense gets a plus. They played really good football. Yeah, Josh Jacobs was not efficient, but he got the job done. Defensively, Corey Littleton had a best game of his career. He had half a sack. Max Crosby played his heart out. He had 3 sacks. They had 5 sacks, 3 picks. It was really good football. They're getting a plus. Yeah, are the Broncos' offense that great? No, but the Raiders proved we're not an above-average football team. We're going to be an above-average football team this year. From what I've seen, they're not an average football team. The Broncos are an average football team. You can't have Teddy Bridgewater throwing 35 of 49, 34 yards, 3 touchdowns, 3 picks. He's not that type of quarterback. Depot, it did work at times, but some of the times they just didn't really do it. I did like their deep ball, though. It wasn't bad. Burn the corners on bootlegs. They did not do really any bootlegs that worked. It was either a sack or a pick. So, it was just really bad play design. They're getting an underscore. They're getting a minus. They just didn't show. Well, their offense did stay with the deep. Like, for the first half, I'll give them an underscore. They weren't that bad. They were just inefficient. They couldn't they were just playing sloppy football. They did score points, so they were trying to stay with them. Wasn't that bad until their defense just melted down. They're getting a minus. They did not play good football. Worst game of the season for them by far. Sorry, Broncos, but you are going to be in for another average season. Then the last game we're going to do, this is going to be a fun game to recap. It was Geno Smith versus Big Ben, Sunday Night Football, classical game. It was actually a really good game. For the Seahawks, I said Seahawks offense, run the ball, take deep shots every once in a while, and then see if the formations are like. They run the ball really well. Alex Collins, he had a big game. Not really deep shots, though. It was a lot of crossers. It did work, though. Geno Smith had a good game, and then he fumbled. And they ended up losing the game, but that's what happens when you don't have Russ. He did his best, I'd say, other than the fumble. 23 of 32, 209 yards, touchdown. Their offense, I'll give an underscore. Just that fumble. They played decent football. Their defense did stop the run, pressure Roethlisberger. They did not pressure Roethlisberger. They did stop the run, though. They get an underscore. Their defense had the best game of the season for them by far. The Steelers just played a little better. Their offense was very inefficient. Like Big Ben, 29 of 40, 229 yards, touchdown. They ran the ball really inefficiently. But Deontay Johnson's big run really set up the kick. No one had a big game on the receiving end. I'll give them an underscore. They didn't play good football, but they ended up winning. Defensively, they got, they got 5 sacks. They got a lot of pressure. They're getting an underscore too, though. Like, do I give them the plus? They only got, you know what? I'll give them a plus. They were really clutch with the fumble recovery, so I'll give them that. Their defense played really good. Either way, guys, Steelers go to 3-3. They're 500. Eagles, Seahawks fall to 2-4. Hope you like the recap. We got Monday Night Football tonight at 8:15. Hope you guys enjoyed that. Like and subscribe. Hope you enjoyed, and get ready for the Week 6 Monday Night Football recap. That's gonna be tomorrow. Maybe the power rankings. I'll see what I can do. Either way, like and subscribe. Hope you enjoyed.